Welcome back, my friends, for another fun reloading video. Today we're going to be testing out a theory here we found in the Shooter's World manual regarding tactical rifle, 308 Winchester, and the 168 grain Sierra Match Kings. So stay tuned and let's check it out. Okay, so not so much a theory, but more so just where they found a sweet load here. So if you read their little blurb about the powder, so-and-so, it's pretty much like H335 or BLC2. It's your great ball propellant for your NATO 5.56 and 308 7.62 style loadings. But anyways, down here towards the bottom, using as received an unmolested Winchester 308 brass, Winchester large rifle primers, and a simple load of 42.5 grains of tactical rifle with a 168 grain Sierra Match King seated to 2.8. We fired a 10 round sub-minute group at 200 yards. Simple yet effective. So we're going to be testing this here today. Only thing is, we don't have Winchester brass. We're using FC14. As far as I can tell, it's only been once fired. And we're going to be using Federal 210 large rifle primers. Again, seating out at 2.800 there, 42.5 grains, 168 grain Sierra Match King. So yeah, here we have Shooter's World Tactical Rifle. It's basically their H335 or BLC2, which is not quite the same region of the burn rate chart, so I don't know which one they're going with. Anyways, here they have a whole boatload of 223 and 308 loads. So what they do is list their maximum charge, and then you reduce by 10% to start. Pretty simple. And as you can see, 308 Winchester, 168 grain Sierra Match King. They list a maximum charge of 43 grains and suggest a velocity of 27.24. So not always recommended to start up near the max, but they specifically list this charge here. So I'm guessing that it's going to be safe for people to test out. Once again, the Federal 210 large rifle primers. All of our brass is already primed. And for our brass, we have FC14 head stamps. This was all given to me by a friend who doesn't reload. There's almost 400 pieces here. I think we've got 370-ish. And these 50-ish, maybe 47 cases, as I was priming them all, these were the loosest and the grossest, and I'm gonna fire these first, and then maybe if they survive, if not, I can toss these and keep them segregated from the good ones back here that were much tighter. And yeah, good to keep those separated so you don't have all these crappy loose ones, you know, floating in your good stash there. And once again, our projectiles, 168 grain Sierra Match Kings. These are blemished or seconds, but I weighed 10 to 15 of them, and they were all within, you know, like 0.3 of a grain or something. It was maybe 167.8 up to 168.2-ish, so maybe 0.4 of a swing. So I don't know what the blemished part is, maybe just the color. Anyways, I'm hoping these will shoot pretty sweet. Hopefully sub MOA at 200 yards. I guess we're gonna test that, right? Yeah, anyways, our brass was prepped with our retting dies, and right now I've got the seating die set up with the micrometer. So basically we just have to dump our powder and seat our bullets, and then I guess we shall move on out to the range, see how it does at 100, stretch on out to 2, and we can go out to 3, so we might even do that as well, depending on, you know, whatever. Well, like I said, all we have to do is dump our powder. So we're here at the RCBS Uniflow. We're dialed in for our charge, suggested by the manual as their most accurate, match-winning, super sniper, incredible, super duper sub-MOA load here. But we, once again, we have blemished bullets, whatever that means, whatever condition they rate that is. We have different brass, and we have different primers. So aside from the projectile, aside from the propellant, it's not exactly their load. So let me do these first 10 here. We'll check out our case fill and seat our bullets before we do a whole bunch of them. Looks like we got a little bit sticking on the cases. I'll kind of sweep that in with a Q-tip, and then we'll get on to seating our bullets. Here we've got a nice look down into all of our cases, and we certainly have powder. That's a good thing. So we can see our nice case fill here before we seat our bullets. Notice that they all have powder, very nice. We're not going to be able to tell a difference between a tenth or two, but we know that we have powder. We're not double charged, and we don't have a squib, so that's always good to check. Let's go ahead and seat our bullets before we seat our bullets. That's why I only do a few at a time, because I freaking would spill crap on the entire tray like I'm about to. Let go. Jesus. Drop it. So we're over at the rock chucker now. Hornady shell holder, retting die, RCBS press. I don't know, man, you know, whatever gets the job done. Anyways, this is not the super awesome micrometer. It's just their standard micrometer seating die. But it's pretty freaking awesome. I don't have any other micrometers. This is a very nice micrometer, okay? Okay. There we go. Oh, quick 90-degree turn. And that is a very lovely cartridge right there. Not even near a compressed load. Plenty of room left. Got a lot of shaking around there. And right now we're a little bit long at 281. So let's take it down a little bit, but not too far, because that ought to be real close. But these Match King tips are usually pretty variable between different ones. So yeah, 2802, let's start there. And I'll try a couple different ones to see how much variation we have. It has taken a lot of force to seat. And we're just barely scraping a bit of copper off of that. I don't like that. I thought I'd deburred and chamfered all these, but I might hit the inside of them again. Test our overall length here. 2803, okay. Let's come down. Let's do 5. We'll come down 5 just so I'm right under it. Like 27999999999. Yeah, just like that. Hit our first one again. That one's a little short, but again, that's the variation between the bullets. All right, I don't think we had any scrapage on that one, but let's test our length here. Yep, that is right where we would like to be. So let's run these, and then we'll keep moving down the line there. Although I might touch those necks up real quick after I seat those, because I don't want shavings in my powder. I'm not sure what effect that would actually have on anything, but who knows? It'd be another variable. God, that feels rough. Feels like I'm putting a lot of, I've got a lot of neck tension, I guess. I believe I used this retting sizing die also. Oh God, almost dropped it and spilled everything. What if we measured our diameter here? What if this is fatter? No, exactly 308. Okay, never mind. Maybe that retting sizing die, the expander in that, maybe that's a little bit tight, so you might have more neck tension, which, I don't know, may or may not do things for accuracy. They just feel so rough at the start. Well, those first 10 were fairly smooth. I'm still gonna touch those necks up real quick. Okay, well, I had to go find my nice little Lee loader because it's got this cute little handheld tool. Quick twist here, let's try a bullet. Yeah, that feels way better. It almost sits on its own. Okay, yeah. Let me just touch all these up real quick. and we'll get on with what we thought we were doing. Okay, well, that took way too long, but probably definitely worth it in the end. Way to go, learn to prep your brass correctly on the first try. Right. Way to go. Anyways, yeah, the inside of those look much better. Should be able to hold the bullet, yeah, a whole lot easier. Cool. I think when I wet tumbled them, you know, sometimes that nice edge there gets rounded out. Maybe, I don't know. Anyways, powder, seating, range. All right, so I'm just gonna do this one at a time, actually. Got my unit flow off to the side. Beautiful charge of powder. And the bullet will sit right on top. Send it. And man, that is just so much smoother. Give it a little shake test to make sure you got powder. So yeah, not only do they list this charge in there, but they say your 5.56, sorry, a 223 with 18 grains and a 55 grain full metal jacket. That's enough to cycle any ARs and still give about, what, 24 to 2,500 feet per second with a 20-inch barrel. Whatever point they were trying to make there, but I'm gonna try their 18 grain load in my guns and see what that looks like. I've heard people get pretty good accuracy with the lower charges, so I'm going to try it. Okay. Yeah, we're going to play with some tactical rifle. And I still have that entire Shooter's World Shootout series I'm working on with 223, which I'm still working on, don't you worry. But I'm going to switch to Lake City brass instead of that crappy Winchester I've been using. Because our Satterley test, that was essentially useless. It didn't tell us a whole lot of anything. I need powder. Ha! Yeah, any Satterley test I've ever done, it pretty much just looks like a linear climb, unless there's some anomaly in your statistics. Good old, I think his name is Keith, at the Winning in the Wind channel. He's a super professional F-class long-range coach and competitor and all that. And basically the Satterley test is stupid. If you have a powder and you can measure it properly, it's just going to be a nice linear gain. As you increase your powder, your velocity increases. It's that simple if your powder is consistent. If you pick a crappy powder, then, you know, that's on you, but given the right propellant, you'll just see a static increase in velocity. So trying to find a node where your powder looks like there's a little plateau in velocity, not quite the best thing. So that's why we're just going to switch to Lake City brass on the 5.56 series we're doing here, because testing with the Winchester in the Satterley test gave us pretty much no results. But it did give us a good kind of baseline of velocity for our barrel, so that's cool. And you'll notice this bench plate here. What's that for? Well, dummy, got him an APP. So I'm pretty excited about that. We've already done a whole boat ton of 223 swaging. Remember how I always talked about, I'll just remount mine? Well, I got sick of reaming. Now we can swage, now we can size bullets, now we can expand, now we can do every single thing you want with an APP. So since I do all my brass prep off of my progressive anyways, for 223 or 9mm or whatever, they're usually sized and decapped and whatever trimmed if they need to be before they ever touch the progressive press. Because I never understood stage 1 with a rifle cartridge. Why would you lube up your case and then you size it and then you prime it and then you add powder when it's all covered in lube and so on and so forth. I just have my brass nice and prepped and ready to go. So stage 1 can either be some kind of expanding mandrel, set your neck tension, or for cast bullets, open up your mouth a little bit. Several things you can do there on stage 1 other than full length size, I guess. Depending on your press, you can even swage. Swage out them primer pockets. So man, these are looking good. All right, enough with the rambling. I will get on with this. We'll see you guys out at the range to test what Shooter's World calls sub MOA at 200 yards. We got them all loaded up, fellers. Let's head out and see how we shoot. And we are back from the range, folks. Here we are. We started at 100 yards with 10 shots. We ran them over the chronograph and we got 9 readings. Our average was 26.52. We had an extreme spread of 130 and standard deviation of 36. Ew, that's pretty gross. However, if I was looking correctly, our high shot was like 27.50, and that was our very first shot, which is here, this high one. And after that, everything kind of settled in a little bit closer to that, and I haven't removed that from the chronograph data, but I'm sure it would tighten those numbers up a little bit. And it was 33 degrees out, freaking cold, my hands were freezing, I couldn't shoot for a crap, trying to load the rounds, it was a mess. Anyways, here, first shot, and then 9 more into this. Not the best shooting here on the tubes, but about 1 3/4. Maybe, yeah, 1.7, 1.8 or something. If we took out the first shot, which you can't do because it's on the paper I took the shot, it's 1 3/4 maybe for a 10 shot group at 100 yards with our 168 grain Match Kings. Take a quick look at our brass here before we step out to 200. This bottom corner was our first shot, and slightly flattened, a little bit of cratering happening, and that is sort of throughout. That's probably because we're not using the Winchester brass that they suggested. This Federal probably has a little bit less case capacity, and if it were like 98 or freaking 110 degrees in August, these would probably be freaking smoking, pissing hot, high pressure, maybe even popping primers. I do not know. But remember, these pieces of brass we chose already had super loose primer pockets, so if I deprime them and they just kind of fall out, I'll definitely toss these pieces of brass. But maybe I'll keep loading these after we shoot the rest. I'll keep loading them and see when our brass will fail for us. But we have a few left here. I only ended up shooting 25. We have 10 here, and then I shot 10 over there, and I let a buddy shoot 5 more at a target as well. So let's go ahead. We've taken a look at our brass. We'll step out to 200 yards and see if our sub MOA at 200 yards claim from the Shooter's World is in fact true. Well, not from me behind the trigger. Here's our point of aim at 200, and we're basically right in here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 shots there. But again, we are using blemished bullets. We're using different brass, and I totally suck. I need more practice. I basically just have a bipod. I need a rear bag. I need, so on and so forth. I need more practice is what Dummy needs. Dummy needs more skill. Dummy isn't good enough to be able to blame his equipment, especially when he shoots through his freaking chronograph shortly after this test. But anyways, at 200 yards, what is this, maybe 3 inches? 3.5 inches or so. Not the best work, but what is that, 1.5 MOA? If we pull out this super far shot there, it looks like this would be our furthest spread. And we're still at 3 inches, so, you know, a little over 3 inches, that's 1.5 MOA. Pretty much the same as this, 1.8 or whatever our group was. So yeah, that actually kind of held up. Anyways though, I'm actually kind of satisfied with that. I think if I were to load a bunch of these up and have them stored away or took them for range blasting, I would be satisfied with that. However, let's note that we were probably near some pressure signs due to the brass we chose compared to what they listed. So I might knock a half grain off before I load any more up. See how those do. You know, maybe 5 or 10 or so. And then maybe in the summer we can compare it and see if it's going to blow out the primer pockets or not. Who knows? Someone remind me when we get there. Say, hey dummy, test that really hot charge of the tactical rifle, okay? Cool. Anyways, as far as the rumors for being sub-MOA, not in the hands of a dummy, but I'm sure a trained professional could do much better than myself at 200 yards. But, you know, that's minute of deer at least, or minute of bad guy, or, you know, a minute to get off my lawn. I kid. Anyways, let's test out their next rumor with tactical rifle saying 18 grains is freaking perfect. You can start there super low blasting. It's accurate for your AR-15. It'll cycle. So we're going to test out some 55 grain full metal jackets with the tactical rifle and 5.56 with their very minimum charge and see how that works and see if that'll be a nice economical load as well. Anyways, that's going to do it for now. Thanks for hanging out, guys. We'll see you next time.